Hey guys, right now we're going to be taking a look at this little multi-tool over here. This is a Gerber shortcut. This multi-tool is really analogous to the Leatherman Micra. I think it's a pretty good competitor. So basically what I'm going to be doing is taking a look at the features and how well they work. Let's do a size comparison first. Most of you have probably seen this before. This is the Leatherman Micra. It looks like a mini super tool. And here's the Gerber shortcut. You can see it's definitely significantly thicker and significantly wider. Here's a Leatherman Squirt S4. Around the same thickness, I want to say. Yep, they're about the same thickness, and the shortcut is still, bigger, wider, and longer. So this is a little size comparison there. This is basically, one of your keychain multi-tools. It's very small. And the reason I'm making this review is because of, a lot of people, when they get multi-tools, they immediately go to Leatherman. And I think this Gerber shortcut right here is a really good alternative at a really affordable price. Now, the Gerber shortcut, you can find it for about $15, I think. You can get it online for about $15, and that makes it cheaper than the new, $15 new, and that makes it definitely cheaper than the Leatherman Micra. So let's look at the implements. First, you got a blade on this back side right here. Very nice shaped blade. It's actually pretty big. Let me show you this. And it comes sharp. The grind is far from perfect, but it's good enough. And this actual notch here, this is a nail nick over here, and this little notch groove type thing is a place for your, I think of it as a notch for your second finger to rest in while you're doing those cuts. Out of the box, it came pretty sharp. I don't know what steel it is, but on a little multi-tool like this, it'll probably be accompanying a larger EDC folder. So this is just a backup knife. I wouldn't worry too much about edge retention. So that's the blade. On the other side is right here a nail tool and file. Now the file is pretty nice. It's not super abrasive. It's a little abrasive, and the nail tool is just that, a nail tool. Nothing really much to say about this. I have nothing bad to say about it. I just was wondering why they used the large tool slot for a nail pick thing. I don't know. For example, I guess they were kind of going along with the Leatherman Squirt, as a Squirt has a nail tool and file as well across from the blade. So this is pretty similar to the Leatherman Squirt. On the other side here, you've got 4 tools. The first 2 are, and the springs are pretty stiff on this. A flathead screwdriver with a bottle opener. And on the other side, what else do we have here? I don't want to bang up my nail. And we have a Phillips driver. You can definitely tell it's been shaped to be like a Phillips driver. But it's just flat. There's no real point to do that. It's really similar to the Squirt S4. I think that's, the direct competitor to this tool. You can see here on opposite sides, you got that bottle opener and you got that, Phillips driver. This is designed for Phillips heads. So, in many ways it's very similar to the S4. On the other side of this, for screwdrivers they work well. For bottle opener, not really. Here we got a very small flathead screwdriver. Pretty nice. I can see this coming in handy. I've never actually used this particular tool for anything useful, but it's there, and I can see how it'd be useful. On the other side is a pair of tweezers, which they integrated into the handle. That's a pretty interesting way they did it. It doesn't open up too wide, but yeah, I mean, it's there. And basically what happens is the whole tool becomes a nice little grip for it when you're using it. So it's actually pretty useful. You can see how similar it is to the Squirt S4. I mean, the S4 also has that very small flathead screwdriver and has a actually removable pair of tweezers, if I can get it out, even though this isn't a review of the Squirt. There we go. And you can see these Squirt's tweezers are actually a lot longer, but I mean, utility-wise, it's about the same. And the last tool you have, obviously, is when you open it up. You got your scissors. These are spring-loaded scissors. And actually they cut pretty well. I've tried them. I mean, they're ground well. I mean, scissors, there's a little more tolerance for, lack of sharpness, because, the scissors, it doesn't need to be as sharp as a real, like, blade to cut. The annoying thing about these scissors is probably the only real annoying... Sorry about that. The only annoying thing about the tool is that the fact that the scissors open way too wide. I mean, I have to, it's hard maneuvering with one hand, and you can see how far I have to stretch my fingers in order to close that. In comparison, the Squirt S4 is much smaller. I don't know if you guys know what I'm saying. You can see how far your hands have to open in order to close the scissors, and when that happens, sometimes you get some torque that you don't want, and then it doesn't work. So you gotta get a good grip on there. But once you do, a nice positive grip with this in your, stuck into your palm, you can get a nice grip on this. This is much easier in comparison. So overall, the tool is, reasonably light. I don't have the exact weight on it. And it has a certain aesthetic to it. It has a nice holes and cutouts and stuff like that. But if you're looking for a direct competitor to the Leatherman Squirt, in this case, this is the Shortcut and the S4. If you're looking for a alternative to the S4, take a look at the Shortcut. It's a really nice, affordable alternative. All the tools are actually a little bit bigger, which makes it a little more comfortable to use, which is definitely always a good thing. If you do want one like the Leatherman Squirt P4, I used to own actually I never owned a clutch, but the Gerber clutch is basically the pliers version of the Shortcut. The Shortcut, I think it comes in black and red, so you have a little color choice. Not as much as a Squirt, but you do have some choice. So my overall impressions, this is a pretty good little, keychain multi-tool. It's affordable. If you lose it, you don't have to worry about it. You can just pick another one up for 15 bucks. And, really, it's a really nice, complement with an EDC folder. Multi-tools have always been a really nice complement to your EDC folder. Though I do carry the Leatherman just because I have it. It's a little bit bigger, has a little more utility. The Shortcut is definitely, no slouch. And, I would recommend it. Try it out. It's not too expensive to try it out, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. That's about it, guys. Thanks for watching my reviews. More coming later. Thanks, guys. Bye.